Hello and welcome to this special Today's Homeowner podcast brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. We're going to provide you the fall checklist from our 4 seasons of home ownership. Joe Truini's with me today, and Joe and I had worked out this plan to provide a complete maintenance schedule basically for the home, and that list got pretty long, got up to over 40 items, so we said, hey, let's divide it up into 4 different lists coinciding with the seasons, and that'll make it a lot more manageable, and that's exactly what we did here. Joe, you ready to share this information?
I am ready, yes. We've got fall has just arrived, a few days ago, so yeah, let's get going. These are things you need to think about to prepare your home for the autumn weather.
Okay, I'll tell you one of the things that we recommend at the change of every season is replacing your air conditioning heating filter. It's very important to make sure that you have a good clean filter in there. And also, when you take that filter off, which if you have a traditional situation where you have that filter behind a grill, probably in your hallway, and you take that filter, the old filter out, you'll have a cavity in there called a plenum. And you want to make sure you reach your vacuum cleaner in there and really clean everything out of there. Sometimes a little bit of debris gets through it. Sometimes you find some spider webs in there. Go ahead and clean all of that out so that none of that will make its way into your system. Another thing, number 2 on this essential items list, is to clean and inspect the gutters and downspouts and repair if needed.
And of course, it's fall, so you want to rake the leaves from your lawn. That's really important because if you don't, they'll all get wet and matted down. They could kill the grass. And also drain the gas from your lawnmower and any other gas-powered equipment. Or if you don't want to drain it, what I've done, Danny, which works really well, is the last time I mow the lawn, I just run the gas out. I just run the lawnmower till it's completely out of gas, and that burns all the fuel out of the not only the tank, but the lines, the fuel lines, and the carburetor, so it's ready to go and to start right up next spring.
Also, you'll want to, if you have single pane windows, you probably have storm windows that you want to install to get you through the winter. It's a good time to go ahead and do that now, and also to do the same thing with your storm doors. Also, drain and flush your water heater. All the instructions that you need are at todayshomeowner.com on how to perform this simple task, because it's so important to drain all of that sediment out of your water heater so that it works efficiently and it'll make it last a lot longer. And by the way, on all of these items that we're mentioning, you can download this list, no charge at all, by going to todayshomeowner.com/4 seasons.
And don't forget to test the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in your home. And if you don't have one on every floor, you should install one. But make sure they're all operating properly. If they have batteries, make sure that the batteries are fresh and change the batteries. Also, inspect the weather stripping and caulk around all windows and doors. You can start by cleaning the outside perimeter of the windows and doors and caulking there, and if you need to then caulk the interior as well. And if you find any weather stripping that's cracked or missing, replace it. Now's the time to replace it before it gets too cold.
Now, if you're in an area of the country that is going to freeze, which is the majority of the country, you'll want to drain your lawn irrigation system. That's fairly easy. Again, we have all of the instructions online right now at todayshomeowner.com. That way you'll prevent any damage happening on that important system in your home. And finally, in our top 10 essential list is to check your insulation and add more if needed. I'll tell you, it's a lot simpler and easier than you might know to add insulation, particularly to your attic, because no matter where you live in the country, you need at least 14 inches of insulation. Now, insulation is normally related to by R value, and that'll get you up to about an R35 or R38, which will really save you a lot of money every day of the year. Now, all of these items, when you put them all together, is only going to take maybe about a day and a half. You don't have to do that all at one time. You can do a few hours here and there, and it's only going to cost you from $80 to $100, depending a lot on the insulation if you move forward with that. So, and all of the materials that you need are waiting on you right now at Home Depot, who is a sponsor of our 4 seasons of home ownership. So we want to help you with just a little reminders on this. And also, it's a pretty cool little checklist here. Actually, it has little boxes you can check. Printing it out, putting it on your refrigerator, and checking it off as you go really does make a big difference.
And when Danny says a day and a half, he's not talking about 36 hours. He's actually talking about a work day. So really,
that's
it's
right.
Like
That's true.
Well, that might be Danny's work day, but for most of us, we're talking about 10 to 12 hours. So I don't want anybody to panic when they said a day and a half.
That's right. Yeah, let's just say 12 hours. That makes more sense. Hey, another part of our list that we thought would be beneficial to you is we have two other little short categories here. If time and budget allow is one. And those are some extra things if you have a little time that you want to spend to make your home look even nicer. It's a great time of the year to trim hedges and shrubs and also repaint, trim paint in at least one room of the house. Why just one room? Well, we're trying to make it manageable. That way, that one room looks a little nicer, and you can do the other rooms, as you have time on that.
It's also a good time of the year to pull out your refrigerator and clean out anything that's behind it. You'd be surprised, from Cheerios to dust. Who knows what you might find there. But you should do this. Actually, you should do this probably twice a year. But just pull it straight out. You shouldn't have to unplug it or disconnect anything if you've got enough slack there. But pull it out, then vacuum behind there. Also, when you go outside and remove all dead plants from your gardens and flower beds, and you'll find, this time of year you got tree limbs and twigs falling out of off all the trees, so you want to clean that up. Certainly, if you still have one more time to mow, you want to clean that up before you start mowing. So you want to get all that dead debris off your lawn.
Also, you might want to look around those bathtubs and recalk if necessary. Again, instructions at todayshomeowner.com on how to make that very easy. And the last thing on our if time and budget allow is clean and deodorize the dishwasher with white vinegar. Run of course of white vinegar through there so that it can kind of clean and deodorize. That's something just people don't ever do. And that's what this whole checklist is about, is just to remind you about some of the things that would be good. Now, if you really want to go the extra step, here's a few more things that you might want to do. Split and stack your firewood. And hey, why not go ahead and get a little extra for one of those neighbors that might need a little help in getting their firewood together. That always would make a difference. And then make sure your fire extinguishers are fully charged and ready if needed.
And then in your kitchen cabinet drawers, and maybe even in your dresser drawers, if you have liners at the bottom, it's a good idea to pull them out and clean them or replace them. They often get damaged over the course of a year, so you might want to replace those. And then clean and lubricate your garden tools. Before you store them away, it's always good to give these hand tools, a little attention. Clean them off, remove any rust, lubricate them if you need to, sharpen any that you need to. This way, come spring, they're ready to work.
Now, we realize this sounds like a monumental amount of work, but once you print out the checklist and you start looking at them, you go, well, you know what? I can do that right now. That's only 5 minutes. Or I can do that. That'll only take about 10 minutes. Or I can do that, tomorrow afternoon. You'll see that it makes it very manageable, but the comfort level comes is when, after it's all done, you know that you've done what you need to do to properly maintain your home, because it can get away from you very, very quickly. And that's what we try to do here at Today's Homeowner, is make this very manageable. And we have everything ready for you to print out. Again, todayshomeowner.com/4 seasons. Hey, thanks so much for being with us on this special Today's Homeowner podcast. And if you would like to respond or ask any questions or follow up on this, you can do that by going to todayshomeowner.com/podcast. I'm Danny Lippert, along with my buddy Joe Truini. Thanks so much for listening to this special Today's Homeowner podcast.